Okay, so someone on DeviantArt asked me how to use Flash. So I'm going to show you how to create a simple anime face using Flash. So for this here, you can use Adobe Flash Professional CS5 or CS4 or any other versions of Adobe Flash. I think you can use Macromedia MX as well, although I haven't really used that program in a while to actually know. Okay, so first you want to go into Create New, ActionScript 3.0. You click on that, and then it brings up your canvas area. Now before you start anything, you go into Modify, Document, and then we change the size of the document to 720, like so. 720 by 576. Because you see, this is basically the default size for whatever type of video or animation you're going to be using nowadays. So we're going to do this, press OK, and this is what you'll get. Now here in this drop down menu, you can choose what to zoom in and all. You go into Fit into Window, Show Frame, and all this here. 200 will bring it up really close, but we just want Fit in Window. Here are the tools, basically almost like Photoshop, except it's got a few new tools here. Well, not really, but anyway. You'll be aware of the selection tool, the subselection, well, subselection is different. Free transform, this is used whenever you want to transform your shape. 3D rotation, I haven't really used this tool. The lasso tool, the same in Photoshop. Pen tool, guessing it's the same in the other, in Photoshop as well. Text tool, line tool, rectangle tool. And you can change this from oval to rectangle and polystar. Now here is a pencil tool, and what the pencil tool does, the difference with this here in Photoshop is that when you draw a line here, it immediately vectorizes it. Down here you can choose whether to have a smooth line or a straightened line or an ink line. It's probably different. I never thought of that before. Anyway, getting back, paintbrush is a little bit like the pen tool, only a little bit more messy. Pink. Deco tool, that's used for decorating the page. And this is the bone tool, the paint bucket tool, eyedropper, eraser, and of course you all know how to use this anyway. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to layers. So for this animation, we're going to need 4 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just want the first layer at the minute, so we're going to call that skin color. So now that we're going to name each of these layers. This one's skin color. This one will be eyeline. This will be eyes. And this will be hair. Now, first of all, we're going to start with skin color. So we're going to need the rectangle tool. We'll change the paint color to brown. And then what you do here is that you draw a whole box around the canvas. You don't want any white parts to be showing. So there, we have that done. That's all you need to do in this layer. This is the easiest. Well, this whole thing is pretty easy, but that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, next is the eyeline. So I'm really going to go through this really quick. For this, we're going to use the paint tool. And down here, you can change the size of your brush. So I'm going to make it here. And I'm going to do this here. It's good to be very careful when you're first creating your animation, because if you're not really that careful, then it can all fall apart. You need to have some really good planning if you're planning on to making an animation that will go very long. Like if you've seen Ziva, I think her name is, on DeviantArt, then check out her animation work because it is awesome. I'm serious. is that we're going to convert this to symbols. So select eyeline. Now in this here, I didn't explain it before, but in this here, when there's a black dot filled in, that is what is known as an object. So we right click this object now, convert to symbol, and we're going to call this eyeline. This has now been identified as a symbol. If you double click on it on the screen, it'll bring it out on itself. Whatever you do here will not affect the rest of it, the rest of your animation. So now we're going to draw something white around here. This is basically for anyone that loves anime. You see that Naruto thing? That took years of doing, people. If you want to get that good, you're going to have to do a lot of practicing and planning, because if you don't have planning and practicing, everything goes to hell. You all know how that works. Can't learn good animation skills overnight. Believe me. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to copy this layer. We're going to copy it. Then we're going to paste it. Paste in place. Now, we don't want it to be in the same place as the other one. So what we're going to do is go into modify, transform, and flip horizontal. And this will change it to the other side. So now we're going to move this over here. Oh yes, don't worry if there's any lines sticking out of the sticking out here, because most likely it's not going to be seen on your whole animation here, because when this actually starts, it'll go like this. Control Enter, and this is how you preview your movie. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to lock this frame, go up to eyes, and basically draw out a typical eyeline. So, but make sure to change the color on your paintbrush. So we're going to do this. So and then we're going to fill it with a very bright color. I'm going to pick green this time. And then if you really want to give it that really tad bit of anime type feel, you can do this. And then put your bucket and do that. But I digress. Well, this is just going to be a simple animation, so copy, paste, transform again, and we move it to the other side. And then select here, right click, convert to symbol, eyes. Okay, so now we've got the basic outlook of the eyes, and what the eyebrows and all will look like. Now up here, we go back up to the timeline. Now we're going to make this animation last for about 60 seconds. And to add in more frames, we don't need to add in a keyframe. Press F5 if you're using Windows, or I don't know how it is for Mac. It could be Control F5. I have no idea. Now I'm going to teach you a handy trick. So we're going to take these off. I'm going to take these off the lock for a minute, and we're going to create motion tweens. Now this will just ask for the skin background to be converted to a symbol. I won't get that message again for the rest of them. Or maybe. So here we go. Now here's a handy trick to use when you don't want to be stuck creating more, more objects in and out, because then that will create too many symbols. Simple thing to do here. Now watch this. I'm going to put this over this way. And then I'm going to click to 45. Move it a little bit that way. and then right up to 60. I'm going to move it back into the middle again. Now this is the results. That is the result of what happens. See? And there's no need to put in more keyframes. So now we're going to lock all those layers, and we're now going to work on the hair layer. So for this we're going to need to make it a wee bit bigger. So go out to 50%. Go here, and then just draw random lines anywhere. So. Don't worry if you draw outside of the canvas or mess up with some lines outside of the canvas, because then all that will do is not show up whenever you have the actual animation completed. Now what I do for the hair is that I go here, F6, this is the only one you'll actually need to do the whole objects with. So I'm going to rub these out, and I'm going to just draw them in different places. I'm sorry if I'm pretty crap at explaining things, but I haven't really done many good tutorials before. This would be my second tutorial. First one would have been whenever I did the whole Photoshop thing. So now, to actually check what I did in my last lines, I click on onion skin, and this will show where I had the lines last time. So just in case I end up drawing the line again. Oh, I don't see if I can help it. So you draw more hairlines, like so. The onion skin is a good thing. It's a good tool to use when you want to make it look like it's actually moving and know where all the lines are going. And then F6 again, and then we're gonna rub this out again. A quicker way of doing this would be getting the selection tool and just get this, but the only problem with the selection tool is that it'll probably erase all the lines that you select, like so. Anyway, back to business. Like so. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to add a very interesting paint. So we're going to go up here to the color. Instead of solid color, we're going to go into radial gradients. Now what this does is that it lets you pick any shade of color that you want, and then you can probably mess around with it and all. So for this we're going to choose the same color, except making it a little bit lighter. And this here will give you lighting or darkening, and this here will actually move up and down to make it more darker or to make it more lighter. So now we get the paint bucket, and this is the results. This is the result of what you'll get. So we're just going to do that again for each one. And that's how you do it. Before we do anything, we're just going to convert these to symbols. So, hair 1, hair 2, and hair 3. So now that we've got that done, the only simple part is you select them all, Control C, or for this, you right click and go to copy frames. Then when you go to 15, you paste frames. And we're going to do this over and over again until we reach 60. So I'm going to keep doing this again. So for this, we're just going to need to copy this frame this time. Copy frame. And I'm just going to paste it here. So now you've got a simple anime face. And we're now going to animate it. Create motion tween. Create motion tween. Now this is the only downside to using Flash sometimes. If you make a mistake with this here frame, then you're going to have to right click undo, and it takes away all of the keyframes that you've actually animated in. It takes a while to get used to, but you get used to it with years of experience. I can't actually say that because this takes me ages to get the gist of it. So the end result should be this. Control, enter, and this is the result you'll get. And this is how you animate a simple anime face. The thing is, you can do whatever you want with these with a couple of more techniques. Like on here, here's my DeviantArt page, and you can create simple animations. Simple animations into something like this. And you can do it into some animation like this here. Probably not as scrappy as mine though. Anyway, thank you for listening to my very quick tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. So this will probably be the last tutorial I'm doing. So thank you for listening.